Hello and welcome to Newsbreak. I'm your host, Nick Steffens. Getting into today's top stories, spokespeople from Washington County Hospital and Clinics said the University of Iowa's AirCare service will begin operating from the WCHC helipad for 10 hours a day, 3 days a week on Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, according to a news release. WCHC Director of Marketing Greta Clemens said AirCare would take off from Washington but only transport patients to the University of Iowa Hospital. Still, she said the arrangement would improve response times throughout Southeast Iowa by about 12 minutes, the time it takes to fly from Iowa City to Washington. Clemens said the unit could also reach people in areas inaccessible by ambulance, an issue that's not common but not unheard of in rural southeastern Iowa. The station will improve AirCare's range as well. Clemens said the helicopter could get as far as Missouri without needing to refuel if it took off from Washington. The helicopter staff, a paramedic, and a flight nurse from the university will serve at and be paid by the hospital in Washington while they're not in the air. The hospital may extend AirCare's hours at the facility in the future. Clemens said the current 3-day plan was a test program. As the program takes off, a news release from WCHC said the residents in the area could expect to hear 3 or 4 takeoffs per day during an aircraft's hours from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on the allotted days. During Wednesday's City Council meeting, Mayor Steve Brimhall honored 3 Mount Pleasant firefighters. Thereas Jeffrey L. Beavers for his 45 years of his dedicated, loyal, reliable service with the volunteer fire department, he read, and I didn't misstate that is 45 years, Brimhall added. In 45 years, Beavers rose to the rank of assistant chief. Beavers will retire at the end of this calendar year. The mayor and city council of the city of Mount Pleasant do recognize, honor, and express gratitude and appreciation to Nicholas Ettinger for 10 years of dedicated and loyal services to the city of Mount Pleasant, Brimhall read. Reading a very similar resolution, the mayor also recognized Kevin Elmore's service. Hopefully Drew Shoemaker will let you drive the fire truck, Brimhall joked, and received laughter from those in attendance. Both Ettinger and Elmore look forward to continuing to serve the Mount Pleasant community. Members of the Wellman Fire Department said they hope to continue with a community toy drive and giveaway after their effort in early December was a major success. Fire Department Secretary Treasurer Tracy Owens said volunteers gave at least 600 gifts to over 100 parents, representing thousands of dollars worth of toys. Owens said organizers had no idea what to expect, but were happy with how things played out. Families lined up early in the morning, and many had the chance to circle back for more toys after the rest of the line got a turn. Owens said the event ran thanks to 14 volunteer firefighters and their wives who helped wrap gifts as they were picked up. Every item given away was donated to the department by individuals in the community and donation boxes set up at the local dollar store. Owens said he was proud of the town's willingness to provide. The department is likely to repeat the giveaway in future years, according to Owens. We're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we'll have the weather and sports.
Since 1905, Kelowna Cooperative Technology Company has helped our community stay connected with the latest advancements in clear, dependable telecommunications services. KCTC provides rural Iowans with access to high-speed fiber internet, as well as phone, television, computer repair, and cybersecurity solutions. We're also proud supporters of local organizations and area schools within the community. KCTC, keeping Kelowna connected.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
Hello and welcome back to Newsbreak. I'm your host, Nick Steffens. We have the weather and sports coming up, but first obituaries. Earl Gene Atkinson of Bonaparte passed away on December 16th at the age of 85. Funeral services will be held on December 21st at the Sharon Presbyterian Church. Schmidt's Funeral Home of Donaldson is in charge of the arrangements. Delbert Duane Protzman, formerly of Mount Pleasant, passed away on December 15th at the age of 85. Funeral arrangements are pending at the Kimsey Funeral Home. Ann Sauerwein of Mount Pleasant passed away on December 12th at the age of 82. A funeral service will be held at 10:30 a.m. December 20th at the Oakland Mills Community Church. Kimsey Funeral Home is in charge of the arrangements. Patricia Evelyn Bates of Fairfield passed away on December 16th at the age of 91. Funeral services will be at 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m. December 22nd at Benner Funeral Home. That was obituaries. It is now time for the weather.
The weather is brought to you by Jacqueline Ariola, LLC.
Come visit Jackie in her new location downtown. She is ready to serve Washington and the surrounding community. Today it has been cloudy with a high of 30. Tomorrow temperatures will drop down to 20 and it'll be mostly cloudy. On Wednesday there's a 50% chance of snow in the evening with a high of 26 and a low of 0. And if you thought that was bad, it gets worse. On Thursday the high is 3 and the low is negative 11 with winds up to 26 miles an hour. On Friday temperatures will double to a whopping 6 degrees and the low will be negative 2. We're going to take another brief break, and when we come back we will have sports. Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank. Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross. Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656. Hello and welcome back to Newsbreak. I'm your host, Nick Steffens. It is now time for sports.
Sports, brought to you by Fairway.
An epic Southeast Conference boys basketball showdown took place in Mount Pleasant on Friday night as the Panthers hosted Washington with first place on the line. It was the Panthers who answered the call using a huge fourth quarter to pull past their rival Demons 62-49. The Panthers scored 22 points in the fourth quarter, turning what was a 2-point Demon lead early in the final period to a 13-point Mount Pleasant victory. The game was still as tight as it can be until the final couple of minutes when Peyton Higgins took the score from a 4-point Panther lead to an 8 points with back-to-back layups. Washington, on the other hand, went cold in the final 2 minutes. Ashton scored 15 more points in the second half to end the game with a career high 30. Higgins finished with 20 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 steals. Patterson scored 20 points in the loss to lead the Demons. Aiden Six finished with 13 points. Mount Pleasant is now the only team in the SEC with a 3-0 record. Burlington and Washington sit one game back at 2-1. The SEC schedule continues on Tuesday when Washington hosts Fort Madison and Mount Pleasant travels to Burlington. It was the Washington girls basketball team that caught fire early in what was a marquee Southeast Conference girls basketball matchup on Friday night, but it was Mount Pleasant that had enough to finish. Panthers rallied from a 10-point deficit to beat the Demons 50-43, handing Washington its first conference loss of the season. Mount Pleasant was led once again by Andrea Laprieto, who filled the stat sheet with 26 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 steals. Tristan Scholl scored 8 for the Panthers. Andy Scott had 7. Kate Schoenfeld scored 3, and the trio of Mackenzie Musselman, Juliana Burns, and Alex Scott each scored 2. Adeline Long paced the Demons with 10 points on the day. Leighton Messenger finished with a double-double, collecting 10 points and 10 rebounds. Kendall Hendrickson had scored 6 points for Washington. Alex Murphy finished with 4 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals. The win for Mount Pleasant, combined with a Fort Madison loss against Keokuk, created a 4-way tie for first place in the SEC. Mount Pleasant, Washington, Fort Madison, and Keokuk are all tied at 2-1. Washington's wrestling has battled hard through the season thus far. On Thursday night, Washington put together one of its best performances of the season, putting it on the Chiefs of Keokuk 58-18. The Demons gave up just 3 matches on the night. Right out of the gate, the Demons' Lane Moore took the 132-pound match by forfeit to go up 6-0. And the 3 ensuing matches at 145, 152, and 160, it was all Washington. Jude Carter took the 145 bout over Anthony Stice by fall in 1 minute and 21 seconds. Lane Truck was the 152-pound winner, pinning Luke Myers in 1 minute and 42 seconds. Chase Griner pinned Callus Martin in 1 minute and 27 seconds to take the 160-pound title. The trio of victories put Washington up 24-6. Coley, Billingsley, and Nate Edmonds made quick work of their opponents in the 285 and 106 matches. Billingsley won by fall in 57 seconds over Mike Kay, and Edmonds pinned Jace High in just 35 seconds. Washington rounded its night with Aaron Boone taking the 120-pound match by forfeit, and Caden Griner took care of Robert Howes by a major decision 19-8 at 126. The duel marks the last for the Demons before Christmas break. Both the Mount Pleasant and Mid-Prairie wrestling teams were at the Mount Pleasant Community High School on Thursday night for a triangular, which also included Fort Madison. The Bloodhounds were the top team of the triangular, beating Mount Pleasant 69-3 and Mid-Prairie 69-12. The Golden Hawks were able to upend the Panthers 42-28 in the third duel of the night. That brought Mid-Prairie to 1-1 and dropped Mount Pleasant to 0-2 on the night. The Panthers also went 0-1 in Southeast Conference action with a loss to Fort Madison. Mount Pleasant did go 2-0 in the girls' matches. Ella McNamee and Alexis Wagner both picked up pins, continuing a common theme for the Panthers as the girls are off to a hot start. That was the news for Southeast Iowa. I've been your host, Nick Steffens. This has been your news break, and I will see you next.